Hello everybody, welcome to Green Horde Heroes. My name is E.T., your big fatty if you will, from the Dice Matrix, and I'm here to show you the survivors slash actors slash heroes, all the related powers and how they work. Now you're going to notice in this handy dandy two-sided insert that comes in your Green Horde Wave 2 box showing all the positions of your survivors and baddies from the Wave 2 base Kickstarter. I'm going to cover each of these figures individually in separate videos. So you can just go to the hero or baddie that you want to learn about and click on the related video. So let's get started and start waking up these survivors. Let's begin. Hyld! Come forth! It's time to be a hero. It's time to mess up some zombies. Alright, let's look at the stat card down here. Hyld has the blue in the blue zone. That's right, you haven't leveled up. You're back in the blue zone. Okay, the ability starts with the Norse shield. So, you know, I went through the equipment cards and grab the Norse shield, and of course the Norse shield says 4+ on the armor, which means you add a +1 die to another equipped melee weapon as well. That's what the Norse shield does, which is a pretty good ability. And as you can see, I gave her a couple of short swords, and I'm going to show you why in a second because some of her other abilities. Alright, guess what happened? We just leveled up. Bloop, bloop, bloop. So let's go ahead and grab our extra action, which is in the yellow. So as everybody knows, once you hit the yellow zone, instead of 3 actions, you're going to get 4 actions. Okay, bloop, 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 bloop. We're in the orange zone. Now we got choices to make. What are we going to do? Well, we have a couple abilities here. I'm going to go with... I have to go with the first one because this one to me is just cool because that's kind of why I set up her short swords here. Okay, she has +1 die melee and +1 to dice roll melee. I'm going to tell you about the one I didn't choose for Hyld first. The +1 to die roll is pretty straightforward, you know. So when Hyld is in a zone with some zombies here, well, when she attacks, she has her 2 short swords on her. So for each action, she'll roll 2 dice. That's how that works because you're dual wielding those weapons. So now they hit on a 4 or better. So with 1 action, that's going to be 2 hits. But this is actually considered a 5 and a 6, and you can't exceed 6, of course. But if this had been both like, you know, a 3 and a 3, then +1 to dice roll would make those both 4s. That would be 2 hits, and +1 to dice roll, slaughter these zombies. All right, but I didn't choose that one. I chose the +1 die melee, and that's cool because when you use a weapon, if Hyld only had 1 short sword, let's just pretend. Let's go back over here real quick and say, oh, no, we hadn't traded or found another short sword yet. Well, we know a short sword does, you know, a damage of 1, and it also does the roll 1 die to hit and 4 or higher. Okay, so normally, you know, you roll 1 die, but with the +1 die is you get an additional die with your melee attack, right? So instead of rolling 1 dice, you'll roll 2, and that gave a chance because if it had just been the 2, it'd been a miss, but that would have killed a zombie. But check out how cool this ability is. So now, when you're dual weaponing with that, now you have 2 short swords. You actually get an additional dice for each weapon that you had there. So dual weapon, instead of +1 die, will be +2. So you're rolling with 1 action. Hyld up here gets to roll 4 dice. 4 dice to kind of try to kill these people for 1 action while she's dual wielding. But that's the +1 die. And I would say I'd have to almost choose that every time. So, yeah, that's 2 kills right there. And that's just one of her actions, which is amazing. Okay, so, well, let's move back down and level up into the red zone. All right, we're way up in the red now. Sometimes I forget to slide this over here because I get so excited about the red zone abilities. So what are we going to choose here? We have a couple of choices. We have +1 free melee action at the top. I'm not going to choose that one. Born Leader and Lifesaver. Now, I really like Born Leader, but I have not seen Lifesaver before. I had to look that up earlier because it was so interesting. Okay, so for instance, let's start with the +1 melee action, which is the free melee action. So as you know, you may grant you one additional action on your turn, but it has to be used for a melee. So it has to be used for a handheld weapon. Okay, that's pretty simple. Born Leader, the second ability is pretty cool. So let's say, oh, Megan's hanging out over here. Let's bring Megan into play. So Born Leader says, so basically the wording in the book is gives, but Guillotine Games has apparently ruled that it's actually more like empower. So it's almost like a free action she can take once a turn. So Hyld can say, I'm a Born Leader. On your next turn, Megan, you can have one free action. And that's basically how it works. Like, I think it's pretty powered, but if you look at all these different powers in the games, there's some that are just cooler than others. And I don't know. I mean, is this overpowered? You guys tell me. I think it's just right. I love about having powers. Okay, so you don't have to burn an action or anything for that. At least that's the ruling that I've interpreted from Guillotine Games. All right, and then we're going to go down to the one I actually chose, the ability which was called Lifesaver, because this is really interesting. All right, so what happens is, let's say, we've got a bunch of these people here, and Megan's in trouble, and I'm going before Megan, and I've already dispatched some zombies or whatever, but once per turn, with the Lifesaver ability, in a range 1 zone containing at least one zombie, Hyld can just reach in there and pull out survivors into her zone to safety. So it looks like let's say Megan's already taken her turn, and Hyld has, like, you know, near the end of her turn, she's thinking, man, what do I need to do? She can just pull Megan without any repercussions, and this is not D&D, so there's no attack of opportunities into her zone. And that's not just with one. Let's just say somebody else was in there. I'm gonna pull out one of our creatures from the past here. But if there was 2 survivors in there, they could pull 2 survivors in. Now, the survivors, the players controlling those survivors can actually decide, no, I don't want to go. And that is an option. So just always be aware that, you know, that's why it's a cooperative game. You guys can discuss ahead of time if you want to use this ability or not. But what a great ability. How many times have you felt trapped when you've played this game and you needed somebody to either push something away from you, to kill something, make a roll at the right time? Well, this Lifesaver one is a fantastic ability. I know I use that word a lot, but man, that's just what I think about it. All right, my friends, that's pretty much all the powers for Hyld here. So until I see you next time, keep killing them zombies.